how walking in my purpose came to be. In 2018, I found myself feeling non-purposeful. I knew God had given me a lot of wisdom and discernment, and I knew that I was supposed to be doing more, but I just didn't know what. But I did know, to whom much is given, much is expected. So naturally, this continued to weigh heavily on my heart. Knowing I couldn't continue to procrastinate on the gifts God had placed inside, with a sense of urgency, I earnestly sought God in prayer and supplication, asking Him to stir up the gift inside me. I then began to write, not knowing it would manifest and become the Bible will be my textbook. As I began to tell people I was writing a book, I often heard, "I didn't know you were writing a book." In which I responded, "I didn't plan to, neither did I." I later learned it wasn't my plan, but God's. As I continued to write, I often told people I didn't want to be that candle under a bushel. As it's written in Matthew 5:15, how men don't light a candle and place it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, so it can give light unto all that are in the house. I also didn't want to be the one who buried the talent and failed to give an increase, because that talent was taken away and given to another that would use it. As written in Matthew 25:14 through 13. I also said I didn't want to let stones outpraise me, as is written in Matthew 3:9, referencing the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and God's ability to raise up stones to be children of Abraham if they were to keep silent. Though I had completed the writing of The Bible Will Be My Textbook in March of 2019, it actually wasn't until June 2020 that I made the final decision of the two publishers I had been entertaining. As we were on the cusp of 2020, I began texting family and friends saying 2018 was like 2017 and 2019 was like 2018, and how I didn't want 2020 to be like 2019, and that I wanted to see noticeable change and impact. I continue to text saying 2020 reminds me of perfect vision. So in 2020, I am resolved to have focus and vision. At that point, I realized if I want to see change, it has to start with me. So I began to fast and pray more frequently, which helped me break a stronghold that would have been detrimental to my walk and my witness. After much fasting and praying, as well as sacrifice, I began to feel stronger than I had in 15 years or so. During the process of The Bible Will Be My Textbook and having it published with one publisher, I decided that I would put out my poetry book, As the World is Seen Through the Eyes of the Raven, Hear Her Cry, which I had self-published in the 90s. So the second publisher I had been entertaining for the first book, I ended up using them for the poetry book, so I ultimately ended up working with both. In reading these books as well as the post, you will discover my personal testimony, easy to read sound doctrine with accompanying scriptures, relatable topics, and a wealth of God-given wisdom. It's my hope, prayer, and desire that you will establish and cultivate a relationship with God. Diligently seek and find the truth and experience the spiritual growth spurt that I have. God bless, and to God be the glory, honor, and praise.